As a mainline Philadelphia relocation specialist, one of the questions I get asked most frequently from people who are considering a move to the area is how they should determine which neighborhoods might be the best fits. So that is a loaded question, and there's a complexity to the answer that can make a video go on forever, and I will try not to do that here. But there are some major considerations which I would recommend people think about. So the first one, same in everything real estate related: location, location, location. So you have to think about what is important as far as commutability to a job, access to something like the airport or the train line, or even local driving arteries and highways and things. So there's that to consider. But location also pertains to whether it's near amenities that are important to you, your sister's house, a certain kind of supermarket, a place where your kid's going to take fencing lessons. So those things matter as far as location as well. When you get down to a more micro level, the location as far as what does the neighborhood itself, that location, feel like? Is it heavily treed with windy roads? Also, are there sidewalks in those areas? Can you push a stroller or walk a dog? Does that matter to you? Would you prefer a little more privacy? So location of a neighborhood can often address all of those things. The next thing to think about is cost. It's fine and dandy if you identify neighborhoods that have homes and amenities and are in locations that you love, but if you can't afford them, there's not really any point in looking there. So talk to your agent about what your budget is and find out which neighborhoods may be going up in value or down in value. There are certain areas that are seeing renovations and people adding second stories. So you want to think about the resale value too, if you're considering something where you're going to be putting money into a home and a property. Another factor that you should be thinking about is whether the property is somewhere that has higher or lower taxes. In our area, there can be quite a range of taxes, so you'll want to pay attention to that. So then there is what I call the home style. What sort of home it is. Is it a stone colonial? Is it a split level? Is it a twin? The style of homes here where we live on the main line, there's not usually a ton of variety within a single neighborhood. I'm not suggesting that they're all cookie cutter houses, but often you're not going to find a stone colonial next to a ranch, next to a Victorian. We don't see a lot of that. So in general, you may be able to identify neighborhoods that have the sort of houses that appeal to you. Similarly, the lot size. It's unusual to find a street where one property has 1/4 of an acre and the property right next door has 3/4 of an acre. So if lot size is important to you, that will also help you narrow down which neighborhoods will and won't be suitable. So once you've done some of that higher level thinking and you've narrowed some things down and you're actually now going and seeing neighborhoods, obviously it comes down to how the street and the neighborhood and the houses feel. So I always caution people to think with both their heads and their hearts. I personally don't think you'll end up with a great house if you only think about what you find charming or what has great curb appeal, but you don't think about the layout, the size of the closets, the flow of the space, and whether it works for your family. But conversely, sometimes I fear that some people get too analytical and they're only looking at number of bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage and those sorts of things. And if you look for a house just based on those criteria, you may find that the house works, but that it doesn't feel like home. It's going to be something that determines which neighborhoods you consider and don't consider.